Everybody, it's Doom here from Dungeons and Doom Biscuit. I'm back with another silly build, and today I want to make a pop-up. This was not my idea. This was actually one of our viewers' ideas. And it's called a pop-up. Now, this mob is something you'd probably want to have several of, maybe. I don't know. His concept was a little different than mine, but he definitely gave me the idea. Thanks for that, Sween. So, long ago, before they had to move the cities into the sky, or maybe they simply threw these things down to the surface because they were a nuisance, I don't know. There was a type of robot, a mech, not mech, but like a robot that existed, whose sole purpose was to advertise. And they still roam the surface of the planet. A good piece of corner sprue would work really good for something like this. They still roam the surface of the planet as a nuisance. Not in so much that they're dangerous, but in the fact, let me get a piece of cardstock. I'll have some right here. That they are dangerous because they lure other things to you, not intentionally, but when they detect a human, they start coming up to you and trying to show you old advertisements. But the noise they make and the flashing screens, you know what? I should not have put that on there yet. Let me get a little piece of cardstock on there and build us I can't think. Okay, when they arrive, I'm just going to put some texture on this to see if it holds glue a little better. That's all I'm doing. They start showing you advertisements and it flashes and makes noise, and it could draw other things to your location. And other creatures over time have gotten smart enough to catch on to this, and now they use following these pop-ups around, or if they hear pop-ups, is an indicator there may be food or a victim near. So pop-ups are bad, bad, bad. Let's get cut out around here a little bit. I'll let that cool for a minute. I'm going to get my little wood tool I always use. And deepen these grooves a little bit. There we go. Okay, let's try another dab of glue on this and get going on my build. So I'm going to put a piece of that there. There's some excess glue around the edges that I'm not real thrilled about. I'm going to elevate this slightly by putting a tiny dab of glue here. Just to get this a little bit off the ground. Nothing too spectacular. Then I'm going to get a tiny dab of glue there. And mount it to my base. Okay. I'm going to get 4 of these little beads to be wheels. And I'm going to get a tiny piece of skewer to mount these wheels onto it. So my only intent is to get a wheel on this like that. Something like there. Okay. Then I'm going to snip that off about like that. There we go. Now this will naturally sturdy up as we super glue it into place. Now, as with any of these bots, you can change out what's on it or how it functions a little bit and make it work for other purposes too. I would probably make several of these. Because you can use them for other stuff if you had to. One reason I'm coming back and cutting this off flesh, so it's not all crazy as it sits on the, sticking out the edge of the model and stuff, just because I think it would look a little better that way. Now these are old robots, so the stuff they're advertising could end up being like good for like stuff they could be looking for in a story arc, like ancient things that people forgot existed, and maybe their screens are just broken and flashing and they're making noise and you can't understand them. You really got to kind of pick and choose how you want to do something like that. But look at that, it's a good little rolling bot body. Then we have that cut off stock and angle there. You could put a screen on. You could probably do your screen a couple different ways. What I think I'm going to do with my screen, I think I'm just going to cut some. It's pretty easier to do this with scissors. I'm going to cut kind of a bigger square, about like that. I'm going to cut a smaller square. Put it on top of that one, just like that, and make it like a screen. It would probably be cool to do like a rim around it and make it look more like a real screen with a frame, but for simplicity purposes and to sell the concept, you could definitely do what I'm doing and it would look okay. Okay. Put a little dab of glue on there, like that. Let's mount that screen, just like that. Now, it would be cool if it had little speakers of some sort. So I'm going to get those. I'm going to mount those to the side with a tiny dab of glue for now. I have every intention to come back and super glue this all. All right, there's my pop-up. So it just rolls around advertising as it sees fit. Okay. I need a little bit of baking soda to sturdy that up. And I'm just going to sprinkle it. Around. Like that. Now, I don't like the speakers being hollow on the back. So I'm just going to get a ball of glue and let that dry, aka cool, something like that. I'm going to do cool quick. Got a little bit of spider webs to deal with, nothing major. All right, cool. I'm going to spray that with some black. Let me get some tools put away. Not much mess on that one. I find that to be good. I'm just going to get a piece of cardboard here. I'm just reusing cardboard from other projects that I didn't use up all the way. Flipping it over and shit like that. Okay. I have a tiny piece of spider web there. So I have metallic brown, full cart metallic brown. It's called chocolate brown. I got it at Walmart. And this is a reddish brown. It's called chocolate bar, Walmart. And elephant gray, Walmart. Crappy brush, as per the usual. Water. This is new water. Sorry. I know you guys are getting used to my really dirty water. Then I might get a little bit of that water again, grab that brown and make some mucky on there. Not a whole lot. Then I'm going to mix some of that gray, some of that brown, and some of that metallic, and make some hideous color. I'm just going to touch on the base a little bit, touch up here on the speaker a little bit, maybe on this bar. This is as exciting as I'm getting with that. The worst part is you might not even really see one of these until it's too late. It might be laying on its side in a scrap pile. I'm going to get a tiny bit of blue here. This blue is called turquoise. I'm going to get a lighter metallic. I don't have a lot of good metallics from the non-miniature paint. A lot of my metallics that are like really cheapy are really just garbage. So I'm going to use a miniature paint for my silver. And I'm going to paint this screen. I'm going to get some of the silver, some of this blue. I'm going to attempt to lighten this up some. I'm just going to be real careful with my screen. Somebody's out doing some early Sunday morning carpentry before 7 a.m. Okay, that's going to be the screen. And then we'll do the main body of this thing in we'll use green. I had a little bit of overpaint there on my blue, so I'm just trying to cover that up a little bit. Now for the wheels, I'm going to use pavement. Which, by the way, is my favorite color. I just want to say, pavement rocks. I'm not putting an enormous amount of effort into doing this perfectly, but I am taking my time to not over or get it places, because that can be an issue. You could stop right there. You could. Nobody could judge you. All right. This is some Dollar Tree black. Dollar Tree, yes, that's correct. A big glob of black. And my screen is cracked on mine. Yours doesn't have to be. Something like that. Pretty basic, pretty simple. But every time they see one, they're going to try to put it down as quickly as possible, because it's going to lure other shit to their locations. And that, my friends, is the terror of the pop-up. Let's see. What can we do to make this a little more lively? I don't know. It's just not very bright. I don't know. Let me see what I got in my walking silly bin here. Okay, I got this little gem, which could be like the heart and soul of this thing, really, if you think about it. Could be. There's no beer caps down here. I find that hard to believe. Maybe I threw them away yesterday when I was cleaning. Yeah, I can't believe it. I'm out of beer caps. All right, we'll just use one of these little baggies that I got that had some Dungeon Swag accessories in it. We'll put a dab of glue on there. Boop. That's way more than I wanted, but that's pretty normal. We'll put that right on the front, and that'll be like the heart and soul of this thing. Killing that flashing light. That's like the not flashing light. It'll be like the thing that detects people coming. The sensor that lets them know that someone's there. All right, cool. I'm pretty happy with that. I didn't have a definitive idea, but after talking to Sween, I was like, oh, okay. So if you saw my oiler, he was like, I'm gonna make little bots called pop-ups out, like with the way you made that oiler. Then he was talking about the pop-ups, getting all up on you and swarming you. Well, in my world, there's not that much technology running around anymore. Everything's kind of dead and extinct. All the robots are kind of malfunctioned and gone. So for me, it would make more sense that it would be something like that. This really old technology rolling around. So, thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell icon, leave a comment, and all the happy crappy that pleases the algorithmos. You know, those pesky AI deities that control the success rate of your channel. Check out our description below, and in there will be the link to the Dungeon Swag website and to our Discord, and a discount code for 25% off your first month of our miniature service. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.